Hi there, future academics and graduate students. Welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into the unwritten rules of graduate school, straight from someone who's been through the trenches and emerged with 3 master's degree and a PhD. Yep, that's me. And I did it as a single parent. If I can do it, so can you. Get ready for some straight talk, straight from someone who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. 3 master's degree and a PhD, and as a single parent, no, it wasn't easy, but I'm willing to share my experience with you. I'm willing to share the secrets, the things that you won't find in the graduate student handbook. This is the unwritten rules of graduate school. From mastering the academic decorum and maximizing the network opportunities that are important that propelled me to completing the degrees and getting in the program, but most importantly, to get out with a degree. Whether you're a novice or a seasoned graduate student, this video is your roadmap to success. Tune in now and gain some knowledge on how to thrive in graduate school. Welcome again to the Unwritten Rules of Graduate School. Rule number 2. Class participation is necessary, if not mandatory. While it's different from being an undergrad, where you might show up every other day, you might sit at the back of the room, it's important to keep in mind that this is graduate school, it's expensive, and you don't want to waste your time or energy. It's important, if not necessary, to sit in the front of the class so that you are not distracted by a whole lot of activity that has, quite frankly, nothing to do with you. Think about this as a job. You came to get a degree, get it. Get as much information as you can in the class, and keep in mind that you will have a substantial amount of work. On the first day, you will be given a syllabus, and there will be a considerable amount of reading that not one human being could possibly do it all. Know that going in. And this presentation is about how to manage all of that and still be successful, how to still get the work done, and not to complain to your instructors about not having time to read it all, do it all, get it completed, because quite frankly, they're not interested in the dog ate my homework. That being said, it's important to be proactive in finding a study group. And quite frankly, as a minority student, as a single female minority student, I might have been the only woman in the class. Some of my classes, I might have been the only black person in the class. So this is not the time to feel sorry for you. You know what you got into when you signed up for a graduate program. You know already what to expect from having gone to undergrad at a particular school like Stanford. That being said, I knew that I might be the only one. And one of the things that I had to do early was to form my own study group, not waiting to be chosen, because that might not happen, but I still got to get this work done. And forming a study group, your potential study partners are obviously the people in the class, and they might be thinking to themselves, as they oftenly do, is what's in it for me? Well, here's what's in it for you, and here's what's in it for them. Say, for example, that you have 20 readings a week, 20 journal articles that you actually have to complete before the next class period. It's important that, say, you find 5 people that you could divide these 20 readings with. So each person has to read 4 articles and summarize the 4 articles and exchange those summaries. Maybe you can put them on Google Drive with your other 5 people in the group. Then, when you come to class and the discussion is on those articles, each one of you will be an expert on 4 articles, and you can raise your hand should should that article actually come up for discussion. It's important to know that the faculty fully expects you to participate. And when they don't see you voicing your opinion or having a opinion about a journal article topic, they think that you have a lack of knowledge. They don't think, oh, maybe this person is shy. Maybe this person doesn't like to speak in public. No, generally they assess it as a lack of knowledge. And then later on, when you are looking for a committee member, someone to serve on your dissertation committee, your master's thesis committee, or possibly looking for funding or looking for an advisor because they saw how you participated in their class or how you did not participate in their class, they're less likely to say, yeah, I'll take you on as a student. And then if someone asks them about, so what was it like to have so and so in your class? And they can be honest and say, well, they were knowledgeable, or maybe they didn't really participate very well. It's important to keep in mind that in graduate school, you're building your brand, you're building your reputation from the very start of graduate school. Use the opportunity to build a good brand. And if you're the only one in the classroom, the only international student from that particular country, I say make that spotlight work for you. So if I'm the only black woman in the class, guess what? She's the only black woman. Hey, she's the girl who shows up early. She's the one who's always prepared. She's the smart one in the class. Therefore, the spotlight is benefiting you rather than you're the only one in the class and we never see you. Always late, always misses class, always handing in things late, always have an excuse. Remember, you're in control of that spotlight. And I say make the spotlight work for you. That being said, I'm always suggesting too that you make your courses work for you. So before I went to graduate school, I thought about what is it that I want to become an expert in. I was a sociology major. I am now a sociologist. But sociology is a broad field, and there are plenty of subfields in sociology, as there are in psychology, chemistry, computer science, etc. So it's important to think about which particular sub area do you want to become an expert in with your degree. So, for example, I wanted to become an expert in race and ethnicity, and any course that I had, whether it was demography, whether it was study of the family, study of social psychology, whatever it was, every class I had been in, I had to write a paper. And so, therefore, I would write a paper on race and the family, race and demography, race and social psychology. Therefore, that by the end of my course taking period, that I would have read most of the journal articles in sociology on race. And therefore, when I come up to taking my qualifying exam, my prelim, whatever it is they call it at your institution, then I'm going to take a qualifying exam on race. I'm now an expert on race because I've been reading those articles and therefore I'm knowledgeable. Rather than, oh my gosh, I have to take a qualifying exam and now I have to now start reading a whole bunch of articles on race. One thing that I offer in this presentation is a research template. How do you get five people to write a quality summary? How do they know what to write, what's important? So, the research template, if you click below, you have access to the PDF, has, of course, you take the information, the bibliography information from the article, but you also look in the article for what's the research question? What is the methodology that the authors use? If you're a quant person, what is the data set that they use? Then what was the findings and what was the limitations of the study? Therefore, everybody in your study group is collecting the same information. Then you're able to compare apples to apples. Okay, how did this research question differ from this research question? How did they, what was the methodology used in this study? Was it the same methodology used in this study? What data set? What's the most common data set that researchers use to study this particular topic? Therefore, you're able to actually make these research templates useful for other purposes beyond this classroom. That being said, if you take nothing from this presentation, is to understand that class participation matters and that getting a B or better matters in graduate school. A C in your program, you might actually have to take that course over. That's why it's important to make friends. And I don't really even mean friends, I mean, make colleagues. They are your colleagues. They don't necessarily have to be your best friend. They can just be a working partner. Sometimes I've given this presentation, and graduate students sometimes confuse friendships with working colleagues. Colleagues are people that you work with that you might respect their work, respect their work ethic, years from now when you're looking for a job or you're looking for a partner for collaboration, they know your work ethic, you know theirs, and therefore you can give them a call to say, hey, you and I work together in graduate school. I'm currently working on this topic. Is this something you might be interested in? Versus your best friend. Your best friend might not even be a sociologist or an academic, and you can tell them that you're frustrated with graduate school and they might or might not understand, but they can learn and hear about your secrets. Your colleagues, maybe not. I went to a presentation where a colleague said, hey, look, when you think about what you're willing to share, you might think about what's available on the internet that's already known by others. That's what you might be willing to share. Other stuff, you might be very, very selective on who you share your personal information with. That being said, next week we're talking about how to find an advisor. And that's a critical part of graduate school. I hope you find this presentation useful. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week where we talk about selecting an advisor. And the title of Rule 3 is Stop Looking for a Friend When You Really Need an Advisor. Finding the right advisor is critical to your success in graduate school. I'll see you next week.